Good morning everybody. Myself Srimati H. Asha, Associate Professor, Department of Physics, ADB First Grade College, Harpanahalli. In this video, I'll discuss about relativistic variation of mass with velocity. So for that, consider frame S dash, which is moving with a constant velocity with reference to frame S along the positive x direction. So consider in frame S dash two similar balls A and B approaching each other with a velocity u undergoes a collision. After collision, these two balls stick together and comes to rest, because according to conservation of momentum, the momentum of ball A and the momentum of ball B comes out to be 0. This may not be same for the observer from frame S. He may be feeling that the mass of this ball and the mass of this ball are m1 and m2, and velocities also u1 and u2, as the frame itself is moving with a certain speed v here. Therefore, after collision, for the observer in frame S, the bodies appears to be moving with a common velocity. This I have written in a sentence form here. The momentum of ball A, momentum of ball B is equal to momentum of the coalesced body. Coalesced body is nothing but the masses are going to stick together after collision, and the sum of these two comes out to be 0. This is clearly indicating that after collision, the bodies are going to come to rest with reference to frame S dash. Now let me write down these velocities u1 and u2 of the ball A and ball B with reference to frame S using velocity addition theorem. This is velocity addition theorem, and remember, this u is the velocity of the body in frame S, and u dash is the velocity of the body in frame S dash. Using this relation, let me write the value of velocity u1, that is the velocity of the ball A, as u plus v divided by 1 plus uv by c square. Call it equation number 1. And the velocity of the ball B can be written as u2 is equal to minus u, because the velocity of the ball B in S dash is minus u. You can write it as minus u plus v divided by 1 minus uv by c square. Call it equation number 2. Now applying the law of conservation of momentum with reference to the frame S, the equation can be written as m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 plus m2 into v, where v is the common velocity, which is nothing but the velocity of the frame S dash itself. Substitute the value of u1 and u2 from these two equations. We will get the expression as this one. Now take this m1 into v to the left hand side and m2 into this quantity to the right hand side, and taking m1 as common, the expression can be written in this fashion. Take LCM of these two and the expression reduces to this way. Now you open the bracket, the expression can be written as this one, and this plus v and minus v gets cancels. Similarly, this is plus v and minus v gets cancels, and observe here, in these two quantities u is common. Therefore, it can be written as 1 minus v square by c square. Similarly, in these two quantities, again u is common. It can be written as 1 minus v square by c square. So, the next step will be like this. Take a ratio of these two, that is m1 by m2. This equation becomes this, because the numerators are same, gets cancels, leaving behind this expression. Call it equation number 4. Now consider 1 minus u1 square by c square. u1 value we have like this, and this you substitute in this one. While substituting this c square, I have taken this manner. Now again this becomes a c square. Just you see, it is not going to alter this expression. Instead of writing c square here, I have taken that c within the bracket under a square here. So u1 square, after substituting this value, it becomes this way, and doing calculation here, that is taking LCM, this expression becomes like this. Now we are opening a brackets, so applying a mathematics here, a square plus b square plus 2ab. Similarly, a square with a negative sign, this becomes negative, b square with a negative sign, and plus 2ab with a negative sign, it can be written as this. Cancel out this quantity and this quantity, then the expression can be written as, and one more thing just observe here, now in this one 1 minus u square by c square I write here, and from these two quantities I will take b square by c square as common, and I will write it as 1 minus u square by c square. Here it is. So 1 minus u square by c square and minus v square by c square is common. So written as this one. Now in these two quantities 1 minus u square by c squares are common here. So finally the 1 minus u1 square by c square comes out to be this, call it equation number 6. Similarly, for the second body you can write it as 1 minus u2 square by c square as the same thing with a negative sign in the denominator, call it equation number 6. In the next step we are going to divide this equation 6 by 5. Notice this carefully because I am going to change the slide now. So here the numerators are same. So this divided by this means this will come into the numerator and this will be in the denominator. Just you observe here, I have taken a ratio of those two. So this becomes, now remove the squares in this equation. So this equation reduces to this form. I have removed the square here so that the roots of these value and call it equation number 7. Now I am going to compare this equation number 7 with the equation number 4. We have got it earlier and I have mentioned the equation 4 here. These two equations I am going to compare. So observe the right hand side of equation 4 and right hand side of the equation 7, both are same. So I'll replace this quantity as m1 and m2. So this is m1 by m2, this expression. Now I have written it as m1 by m2 is equal to root of this and root of this. Cross multiply it. Next step we will get it as m1 into root of 1 minus u1 square by c square is equal to m2 into root of 1 minus u2 square by c square. Now you can notice from this equation the left hand side is totally independent of the right hand side, because this left hand side all the values belongs to the first body and the right hand side this m2 and u2 belongs to the second body. So this is true only if these two are equal to some constant, say m0, which is nothing but a rest mass, we call it as, with a zero velocity. That means either this is equal to a constant m0 or this is equal to a constant m0. Therefore I can write it as m1 is equal to, I can consider either this value or this value. So considering this value, I have written it as m1 is equal to m0 divided by root of 1 minus u1 square by c square. In general, if we consider m as the mass of the body, instead of considering the 2 bodies, 3 bodies, etc., if I consider in general m as mass of the body and v as velocity of the body instead of u1 here, the final expression can be written as m is equal to m0 1 minus v square by c square. This is the expression for variation of mass with the velocity. So from this equation it is clear that as the velocity of the body increases, the mass of the body increases. Dear students, certainly in your mind the doubts may be arising that when we do the journey either in trains or in aeroplanes, we may be thinking that whether the mass of our body, does it really changes here? So no, certainly the answer is no. The speed of the train and the plane or whatever it may be, they are very less compared to the speed of the light here. So this variation of mass with velocity is appreciable only when the speeds are very high, or we can say the speeds are approximately equal to the speed of the light here. Now with this equation I can show you that at a lower speeds the mass will not change. For that, let me consider v is very small compared to the speed of light here. Then this equation, this can be neglected. If v is very small compared to c, this can be neglected. Then automatically this expression reduces to simply m is equal to m naught. That means the mass will not change if the velocities are comparatively small. Okay. On the other hand, if the velocity is approximately equal to the velocity of light, then let me consider this v as c itself, the velocity of the light itself. Then this equation becomes m is equal to infinity. That clearly indicates as the velocity goes on increases or approximately with the velocity of the light, then the change in mass is appreciable. So this is nothing but the explanation for the relativistic variation of mass with velocity. That means one can come to the conclusion here, nothing is absolute. That means usually what we consider here, the mass is absolute. Wherever we go, the mass will remain same, it will not change. But from this study, we can come to the conclusion that the mass is not absolute. That means it is not going to remain same everywhere. With reference to the velocity, the mass is going to change. The expression is what we derived today. So thank you for listening.